Not only are we going to go over the three YouTubers who inspired me to become a YouTuber, but we're also going to cover some pretty exciting news. Hi there, I'm Golden Routes, and today we're just going to take a look at something I've never discussed before. Now, I have talked about Toro guides being my number one inspiration for making routes and stuff like that. He also inspired me to make YouTube videos as he was covering YouTube videos as well, but he wasn't the primary person who got me into making YouTube videos. So you're probably wondering why I've left all of this information out and why I haven't talked about it before. There's really no reason. I just never put a whole lot of thought into it, I guess. So basically what's going to happen is I'm going to go over the three YouTubers who had inspired me to become a YouTuber. Keep in mind, Sun Albatrails was pretty new when I first started too. I think he had either 5, 10K subs when I started, somewhere around there. So he was fairly large for that time era, but I didn't really get into watching him until after I'd started my YouTube channel. Um, so unfortunately, Sun Albatrails isn't one of those on the list who inspired me, but I think you guys will greatly appreciate the people who I chose to chose to lead me to become the YouTuber I am today. So, of course, the top one is Toro Guides. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be making routes today. I don't know what it was about him. He just always seemed to have the best routes for whatever material you needed. So, that gave me the strive to be better than him. And not only to be better than him, but I also wanted to cover odd materials that not everybody really thinks about, or not necessarily materials that not everybody thinks about, but materials that everybody thinks about but doesn't really think there could be a route for. So with all of that being said, Toro Guides is probably my number one inspiration for YouTube in general. However, there's two others that play a huge role in why I'm a YouTuber today. Those two are Once by Gold and Old Bess. Old Bess had gotten me into the swing of actually being on YouTube and actually communicating with people and making guides and stuff. He just made it seem so fun and seamless, and I really wanted to just give it a try. Um, I don't know how he was able to do that, honestly, because I never even talked to my family back then. Like, no joke. I was not one to socialize. I would sit in my room, more than likely playing WoW or Terraria at the time, and somehow this guy got me to basically come just right out of my shell in one go. Now, obviously, it took me a little bit longer to get used to socializing and all of the fun social aspects of socializing. I'm still not very good at socializing. I'm not gonna lie, I'm very socially awkward. Um, but I make fun of myself, which I feel is the key to being social. Is if you can make fun of yourself, then nobody's really making fun of you. Um, I guess, but you yourself is the way I look at it. So, where does Want to Buy Gold come into this equation, you may be wondering? Well, not only is he a pretty good friend of mine, but he also knew the auction house pretty well, I feel. I could be wrong on that, but at the time when Want to Buy Gold was real big and popular, um, basically he knew what he was doing on the auction house, and I loved that. I'm not necessarily one for gold farming. I'm more of a material farmer, but he knew his way around making gold. If it wasn't one way of making gold, it was another, and he wasn't afraid to share it. So that's I really envy Once by Gold on that aspect of gold making too. He knew that he was more than likely going to destroy a market for a short period of time, but he also knew that it would only be temporary. So he wasn't afraid to share his locations or anything like that, and he just became a pretty good friend over the last couple of years of me YouTubing. It's nice knowing that not only the people that inspired me to make YouTube videos watch my videos, but it's nice to be able to chat with them every now and again, even though I'm not very close with them. It makes me feel welcomed to the YouTubing community, at least for gold making, because I know the gold making community can be a little bit rough here and there, but Once by Gold, Old Bess, and Toro Guides make me feel very welcomed. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get a hold of Toro Guides at all. It would be nice to be able to at least thank him personally, but sometimes we gotta live with the fact that we can't always do what we want. Um, as amazing as it would be to be able to just say, hey, thanks Toro for inspiring me to make routes. Um, it's really not that big of a deal. Just because I know probably somewhere along the lines he has probably seen one of my videos and he knows what I think of him and how he has inspired me to do this. I like to think that that may not necessarily be the case, but I like to think that. My philosophy is you may not be heard, but or no, you may not be you may not be heard, but you are seen. So what that means is even though it doesn't feel like anybody big is listening to you or anybody big is or everybody big is ignoring you and all of that, that may not necessarily be the case because believe it or not, a lot of big people do watch what a lot of their commenters say and stuff like that. I have noticed this throughout the course of the last couple of years of YouTubing because I even do that myself. I'll pay attention to some very specific comments and I can usually recognize a couple of people um, just by how they comment and phrase things. So I do know that I am listening to them, but they don't know that I'm listening to them, if that makes sense. Um, so the exciting news and the whole reason I even made this video is for Old Bess. I had recently found out that he actually watches my videos as well. Once by Gold watches my videos every now and again too. So it's pretty nice knowing that 2 out of the 3 people that have inspired me the most to make these YouTube videos watch my videos. Like, I'm not even that big of a YouTuber, and some of the largest YouTubers don't necessarily watch every one of my videos, but they tune in every now and again. And I feel like that's what's most important. It also shows how versatile the gold making community can be, I guess. So you got these other YouTubers, and I'm not naming any names because I don't want to start anything, but you got YouTubers who are all about themselves. They don't want to give credit when credit is due and all of this and that. And then you got YouTubers like Old Best and Once by Gold who are more than happy to give you a shout out or just say, hey, yeah, that's interesting. Um, or like, that's an interesting location or something like that, It's pretty nice knowing that there are YouTubers out there that care about the community of the golden makers. Um, as far as all of that goes, I believe that is everything for this video. I appreciate you guys tuning in and listening to me just kind of ramble on about my inspirations. Um, yeah, I do believe that is all for now. So thanks for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day.